Assalamu alaikum, dears, how are you? We are human. We are seen amongst the human, the rest of the humans. We are seen interacting, listening, talking, giving, taking, and chatting, doing different sort of things with the rest of the humans. So that is our nature and that is our need as well. But many a times we come across somebody who was quite a crook, was a cheater, was a fraudulent person, and they try to cheat us. Sometimes we get cheated, and sometimes we by chance we remain safe of all that. So it is all because the people on the other side, they are not fair people at all. They are not honest people at all. They are not good people at all. So my dear friends and fellows, today we have made it a topic of our discussion that how, if at all, I and you, the general people, how I and you, the laymen, the commoners, the people who are not very intelligent, how can we judge? How can we understand that this person is trying to cheat me, that this person is trying to be, this person is a fraudulent person, and I need to protect myself. I need to keep myself away. That is the topic of our today's discussion. And in our today's discussion, we will try to find ways and means. We will try to find ways and means. How can we detect them? How can we protect ourselves from these cheaters? So let's begin. First of all, there are certain behavioral signs of these people, and these behavioral signs are actually five in number. We need to know if at all anybody is having one of these five signs. So if at all, it would automatically mean that they are not honest people, that they are the cheaters, and we need to protect ourselves. First of all, it is the inconsistencies. It is the inconsistencies, that is, liars often have difficulty keeping their stories straight. Liars often have difficulty in keeping their stories straight. So the sense their story is not straight, it actually means that there are inconsistencies, and these inconsistencies are a lot, or even a single inconsistency make the person suspicious enough. Now the second thing is, that is evasion. It is evasion, avoiding direct answers, or diverting attention from the real issue. Diverting the attention of you from the real issue, or they are avoiding answering you directly whatever you need to know, whatever you have asked. Now the third behavioral sign of a fraudulent person is that they are defensive, becoming overly defensive or aggressive when questioned. Being overly defensive or being overly aggressive when questioned, when you ask certain questions, because they don't want to be asked questions at all. Now the third is, that is defensiveness. That is, the third is defensiveness, and the fourth is, that is nervous behavior. Fidgeting, sweating, or avoiding eye contact. Fidgeting, this way, and fidgeting, and also sweating and avoiding the eye contact. So that is nervous behavior. Now the fifth and the last behavioral sign of a fraudulent person is that they are over friendly, or overly friendly, overly charming. They are very charming, or they are very friendly, or both of these. They are very charming on the one hand, very friendly on the other hand. Being excessively friendly or being excessively charming to gain the trust of the other side. So these are the five behavioral signs of a fraudulent person. Moving next, that as there are certain verbal signs as well, and these verbal signs are four in number actually. The first one, it is the vagueness, providing vague or unclear information, providing a vague information or an unclear information, because the clear information mean that they are going to be caught and they will not be able to cheat, they will not be able to manipulate another person. Now the second verbal sign is that there are inconsistencies in their stories. Their stories are full of inconsistencies, or even a single inconsistency in anybody's story mean that it is not reliable at all. Now changing their story or contradicting themselves, it is something which we notice that they are either changing their stories or they people are contradicting themselves as well. Now the third is that lack of details, failing to provide specific details, or evading questions, failing to provide specific details or evading questions. Now the fourth and the last verbal sign is that they people are, there is a jargon or technical terms, the use of jargon, the use of technical terms by those people, by a fraudulent person, using complex language to confuse or to intimidate. To confuse or intimidate, they people are seen using jargon or technical terms. Moving to the next step, there are certain physical signs as well, and these physical signs are actually three in number. The number one physical sign of a fraudulent person is that of the body language, avoiding eye contact and fidgeting, or displaying open and closed body language. It is the body language actually, avoiding eye contact, fidgeting, or displaying open and closed body language. Now the second is micro expressions, flashing emotions like fear, like guilt, or like anger. Micro expressions, flashing emotions like fear, like guilt, like anger. Now the third physical sign of such a person is, of a fraudulent person, is that tone and pitch, changes in the voice tone or pitch when speaking, changes in the voice tone or the pitch when talking, when speaking. So that is the third physical sign of a fraudulent person. Still next, there are certain online signs as well. How can we understand that this person is quite a cheater? Number one, there are fake profiles, fake photos, fake name, fake age, even the country name. They people buy the WhatsApp, of another country, of a developed country. So that is fake profile, that is creating fake social media profiles or online personas. So that is the number one online sign. Number two, it is the inconsistencies in online information, inconsistencies in the online information, providing conflicting information online. I think that is the biggest ever, way to understand that this person is a totally wrong or a fraudulent person, if at all there are inconsistencies in whatever the people are telling. Now the third thing, that is the online sign. It is the poor grammar or poor spelling, using poor grammar or spelling to avoid the detection. So that is online signs. Now there are certain financial signs as well. These financial signs are also three in number. The number one, it is unusual transactions, making large or unusual transactions. They are showing that they have made such a big transaction, or there are very unusual, not normal transaction at all. Now the second thing about the professional sign, about the financial signs, is that inconsistencies in the financial records, falsifying or altering financial records, falsifying or altering the financial records. Now the third and the last financial sign of a fraudulent person is that lack of transparency, failing to provide clear financial information. Lack of transparency, failing to provide clear financial information. So that is the financial sign of a fraudulent person. Now the third is that there are certain red flags as well. There are certain red flags that this person is a fraudulent person. This person is not an honest person at all. The person is here to cheat you, to defraud you. Now the number one red flag is that is urgency, creating a sense of urgency to make a decision. They are not going to give you a good amount of time because they think that if at all our person, this person is going to, if at all this person is given a good amount of time, it will become easier for them to detect me. So for that reason they are showing a situation of urgency, creating a sense of urgency to make a decision. Now the second red flag of a fraudulent person is that secrecy, insisting on secrecy or insisting on confidentiality, insisting on secrecy or the confidentiality. So that is the second sign of a fraudulent person. Now the third sign of a fraudulent person is that is unrealistic promises. Unrealistic promises, making unrealistic promises are guarantees, making unrealistic promises are unrealistic guarantees as well. Now the fourth and the last red flag is that lack of credentials, failing to provide proper credentials or proper qualifications. So that is the red flag. That is also a red flag. Now we need to understand, we are going to talk about verifying the information. We need to verify the information, and background checks, like conduct thorough background checks. Background checks, conduct thorough background checks. Now the second thing to verify the information, it is reference checks. Verify references and verify the credentials. Now the third and the last verifiable information is that fact checking. Verify information through reputable sources. Verify information through reputable sources. Now there are certain things, that is trust your instinct. Trusting your instinct, listen to your gut, listen to your sixth sense, listen to your gut. If something feels off, something is not normal, that is trust your instinct. Now the second is ask questions, ask questions, ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions or seek the clarification. Don't be afraid to ask questions or seek clarification. It is, remember these signs don't necessarily mean someone is fraudulent. These signs don't necessarily mean someone is fraudulent, but rather indicate potential red flag. Always investigate and verify information before making any sort of conclusion. Our today's talk, I think that is highly beneficial for the purpose, because we have been cheated, because we have been manipulated and exploited several times during our lifetime. So we don't want to be further cheated a lot. So for all that topic, making it a topic of our today's discussion, we spoke about the 5 behavioral signs of a fraudulent person. First of all, then we talked about the verbal signs of 4 verbal signs of a fraudulent person. Still then we talked about the 3 physical signs of the fraudulent person. Still then there are online signs of a fraudulent person, which are also 3 in number. Then there are certain red flags, financial signs. These are also 3 in number. 3 financial signs as well. Still there are red flags, which are 4 in number. Then we talked about verifying information. Then we talked about trusting your instinct, and that is something very technical and very, I think, clearly understandable way to detect a fraudulent person, and then of course protecting ourselves, our loved ones and the other people from these fraudulent people. That was highly beneficial. So that's all from me today. Thank you very much.